So let's work on the cash receipts collection budget. Just to review, we have already budgeted sales. This is what we think we're going to sell. That doesn't mean that they're going to pay us on the day we ship these flops to the stores. The stores will get the flops, inspect the flops, count the flops, queue it up, and pay us, probably, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, but it won't be on the day that we ship it to them, which is when we've sold it to them. So these sales are going to come in at some point, and the question is, when will we get the cash from those sales? So let's link to the sales. Of course, we're not going to type anything in. We're always going to link back to the assumptions. So we need the dollars. So let's go from the sales budget. And we can copy this over because the sales budget is arrayed this way. It's not a single cell that doesn't repeat. So when are we going to get this $315,000? Well, we have to go back to the assumptions. They say that we will collect sales, 75% of the sales in the quarter sold, and the rest, the remaining 25%, in the next quarter. So this $315,000, 75% of it, and I'm not going to type 75 here, I'm going to point to the assumption in the budget here, see the dashing lines, then hit enter. And so this formula here is, please look at the total sales for the quarter and give me 75% of it with this link to the 75% on the assumption page. When are we going to get the rest of the $315,000? In quarter two. So all of the sales minus what we collected in quarter one will give us the part of quarter one that's coming in quarter two. What about quarter two? All of the sales times the percent that's coming in that quarter, linked to the assumption page, because the 75% may change. And then when we get the rest of the 630 out here, so the 630 minus the 75% that we got in quarter two is the rest that's going to come in quarter three. Quarter three times that assumption percent. Enter. So of the 735, 551 is coming in quarter three, the rest in quarter four. Now what about quarter four? Well, all right, this 840, 75% of that. Not typing it in, linking. But what about the rest? What about the difference between the 840 and the 630? When's that coming in? The quarter after quarter four. What is the quarter after quarter four? That's the first quarter of year four. We're going to do a balance sheet at the end of year three, so the remainder, the 840 sales less the 630 of that quarter that's already been collected, that 25% of the 840, that's going to be on our ending balance sheet at the end of year three, because it won't be collected until year four, first quarter of year four. So accounts receivable is where we keep track of things we've sold, but the customer hasn't paid us yet. So that's what this is. This last 25% of quarter four has been sold, was sold in quarter four, but not collected as of the end of year three. So we're going to make a note here when we get around to making the budgeted balance sheet, we will come back and get this number. Now there's one more piece of it, and that is quarter four of year two. 25% of the sales in quarter four, year two, are going to be collected in quarter one, year three. Where are we going to find that number? On the balance sheet at the end of year two. And there it is. That is the part of quarter four, year two, that wasn't collected in year two. And we're collecting it now in quarter one of year three. Okay, so let's add up the sales And we don't want sales in there. That was just a reference point. So just be sure to add up and include in your collections only the collection lines, not the data we use to compute it. And then here we want all of those, but we're not adding up the sales budget. We just use the sales budget as a reference line. And one way to check your numbers is to make sure that this here, which is summarized down below, is the same as these four added up. And that'll tell you, or at least give you half a chance of finding an error in your formula. All right. So that is your collection budget. And the next one we'll work on is the disbursement budget.